Hello, class. I'm sorry I was not able to make it this morning, but I wanted to make sure that you didn't miss out on valuable information. So I'm going to go over as many things as possible that will help you get through your homework for the weekend. So as you can see right here, it says that on Tuesday, a list of 10 quotes, an annotated bibliography of two sources, and a preliminary thesis in the first two paragraphs of your essay are due. Um, it also says we're going to do peer review, questions and concerns, and presentations on the sources that you find. I'll get to that later. Um, so let me begin with sort of talking about the prompt, which is what we were going to do today. We were going to brainstorm about the prompt so that you could fully understand what it is that you need to do. And that was my alarm. Okay, so this is our prompt, right? You have two questions to choose from, and you do need to make a choice. Hopefully, as you began with your essay plan, maybe you've already made a decision as to which prompt you're going to do. Just kind of obvious things. If you do prompt number one, right, which is the feminism prompt, then you will not be using Moonlight because it does not really relate to that prompt and how you are going to address feminism and patriarchy. If you do prompt number two, then it's very likely you will be using Moonlight. But you do have an option not to focus on gay men and to pick lesbians or bisexuals or transgender or people who are transgender. So I believe most of you, if you pick prompt two, will you choose gay men so that you can use Moonlight, and that's probably the best thing to do since we watched the film and we're going to be talking about it. So these are just sort of the two prompts, right? And that you have to pick. And obviously, these are all of our readings. If you choose prompt one, which is the Why is Feminism Important movement, then you can use all of these readings in addition to the YouTube video. You should be using all of those in your paper because they all can be used to talk about feminism and patriarchy. And they also should be used if you're using prompt two. The only thing that doesn't apply to prompt one is really just Moonlight. So now I'm going to show you this, which is sort of this brainstorming activity that I went through with my other class, which is what I was going to do with you. So I'm sort of going to try to walk you through the steps of what we did. Um, so the first thing we did is sort of underline and circle the things that were the most important. So if you're doing prompt one, obviously what is important is that, look at my crazy thing. So what is important is that you focus on feminism, right? This is the focus. And then this is um, the crucial moment for this, both of these prompts is going to be, right? This does masculinity and patriarchy, right? And here it is again. These are really important. And they are right, the focus of the essay. So you have to look at how masculinity and patriarchy affect either of these groups that you choose for prompt one or prompt two. If you're doing the feminism, there's many different types of feminism. So the first thing you're going to have to do is sort of get an idea of what feminist approach you're going to want to take. So what area of feminism might you focus on? So this area here, right? And then I put Roxane Gay here because there was a question asked about who are current leading feminists. And Roxane Gay is a woman of color who is one of the leading feminists right now. She has a book called Bad Feminism, which you could try to find things that are written by her or about her if you're doing prompt number one. The other thing is that you will have to contextualize feminism, but you shouldn't spend too much time on it. So you do want to look at the historical oppression of women. So an example that you should, or one frame of reference, for example, is that black men, were able to go to college before women, any woman of any race, was allowed to go to university. So this is important to sort of think about the hierarchy in society. So these are things to begin thinking about with feminism. Um, if you if you do feminism as your prompt, then you're really going to need to find articles that focus specifically on feminism and masculinity to have that core argument to refer to or to build your argument from. This is similar to what you did in essay number 2, because I didn't give you exactly articles that were about community college. So the challenge was to go find stuff. So you will be doing that as well with prompt number 1. So I do want to address prompt number 2. This one is, it's not underlined here, right? But expectations, right? So what are those expectations for the LGBTQ community when we live in a masculine, patriarchal world? And so thinking about that, right? One of the things that, speaking with the groups, because we missed the presentations, that I asked every group a question about how patriarchy affected feminism, how the word fag could oppress women, and how patriarchy could affect the use of the word fag or the LGBTQ community. And so one thing that is really important to keep in mind is that patriarchy is heterosexuality. It's not only elevating the status of men, but it is also saying that the relationships that men should have are between a man and a woman, and that is the standard in a patriarchal society. So that's sort of your frame of reference if you're going to do prompt number 2. It does ask about the community. And so one of the questions that we came up with my other classes, what are these expectations from the community for gay men? Or what are the expectations for gay men from their surrounding community that they live in, from the patriarchal structures of the society that they live in? This essay is sort of an intersectionality essay, right? Because we're looking at Chiron, who is a Black gay male. So immediately it's an intersectional approach because he's not only Black, but he is also gay. So thinking about that, it's sort of both of these prompts are in preparation of thinking about the last essay, your research paper. This essay is really supposed to create a foundation for you to build the research for the last essay. So there are a lot of ways. I added low income here for thinking about how Chiron is also in a low income community and the circumstances that that creates. You don't necessarily need to include class into this essay, but it is sort of just an aspect for you to think about. It is an extra layer. If we were really going to go deep into the layers of Chiron's oppression, right? He is low income, he is Black, he is gay, he comes from a single parent household. His role model is a drug dealer and his mother is a drug addict. So he has so many levels of oppression. And additionally, in addition to that, he's bullied. So he has like 6 or 7 levels of oppression that we could even look at, but I'm not expecting you to tackle all of those things. I want you to focus on masculinity and patriarchy in terms of the expectations for gay men, in particular, gay men of color, gay Black men, right? So this is sort of to help you think about the prompt, right? And then this question here is important for both prompts. And it is, what are the social norms of being masculine? And those norms will apply to both women and people from the LGBTQ community. So that's something, a question that you should be ruminating as you begin your research. So it will be necessary for you to research. So in preparation for this essay, the first, and your homework, the first step will be researching. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the library database briefly. I had it open in a window here. Let me find it. Okay, I'll just go to it here. So library database. So once you are on the Fullerton College, well, from the Fullerton College homepage, I'll go there first. You can go ahead and click over make this smaller so you can see it. You can go ahead and click over here on library. And when you click on library, then you'll go over here to database and you'll click on EBSCOhost. This is the database that I recommend. The articles that you find must be academic, so you no longer can use, you have to have 3 outside sources. my alarm again. You have to have 3 outside sources, and 2 of them must be academic. So I recommend that you use EBSCOhost to do that. You want to make sure that this box is checked, and click continue. And then here you're going to go ahead and put in some key terms for your search. You should create a list of key terms before you begin searching so that you have appropriate terms to put in. So I'm just going to put in here feminism, and then patriarchy, and then do or um, masculinity, and I'll actually add an or here. So this and or is really important. When you do just and I'll put these both in and show you what results we get. When you just leave the and, we got 28 results. That's really not a lot. Once you start narrowing the year, which you need to be within, I prefer for the past 5 years. I mean, there's not even anything from 2017. So it's just, you click on academic journals, we're down to 10. So, but the moment you change these to or, we have 31,000 results. It makes a drastic difference in research on the database. So you want to make sure that you are using kind of and or options in order to find things that are important. I would probably leave an and for one of these just to see what would happen if you're doing prompt number 1. We have 11,000. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to put in 2012 or 2012, and then I'm going to put in 2017 here. I'm not sure why nothing's coming up for 2017. Put in, click academic journals, because, and then now we have sort of like women and gender equality in higher education. Too soon, and this is the article actually that I assigned you, Too Soon for Post-Feminism, The Ongoing Life of Patriarchy in Neoliberal America, Patriarchal Beliefs, Women's Empowerment. So right away, we are getting things that are very specific to the essay. So I'm going to take away this one and then do and masculinity and see how that changes our results. And then still, we're not getting anything from 2017, which is sort of interesting. I'm not sure why there wouldn't be anything more current. And then again, I clicked on academic because we do really need, it's pretty much the same results once I do that, right? So those are things for you. I'm going to do one right now for Black men and patriarchy and homosexuality and see what happens. Let's do a search there. And actually, we don't need to, we could just put in black and see what happens. But that might be actually too vague. So right away we get an article that says we're not faggots, masculinity, homosexuality, and the representation of Afrikaner men who have sex with men in the film Schoonheid and Online. So now this is about a film, probably not the best thing we could use, right? Simultaneous high crystallinity and sub-band gap optical okay, so I can't even pronounce these. So basically, it's not what we need. This looks like it's about something else. And then so the effective stacking order and device performance. So this search is not working. So I just want to point that out. We're not getting things that we want by looking at 3. The word black is too vague, right? So, but if we put black men and then we type in or, so I always felt I had to prove my manhood, homosexuality, masculinity, gender role strain, HIV risk among young black men who have sex with men. So right away we get something that is much more specific. We had to leave in men. So this is important for you to sort of realize like how you're going to use this. So just some quick things to talk about. I'm going to have to do a separate link because my time is about to be up on this. So I'll send one more.